Hi, everybody. Welcome to our next NetNomads podcast. This evening, we've got a wonderful conversation planned. Our gorgeous Norma has been doing business by heart for quite some time. It's a really passion project of hers. And it's just so, this is also one of the reasons why we clicked and have been working together with NetNomads. And yeah, we all know what it's like being in a job where we don't like it, but you end up doing things because you have to, it's expected, and you end up being an inauthentic version of yourself. So how do we bring in that whole business is personal? How do we bring in, just this is who we are? Norma, would you like to? Hi, Ulrika, welcome.
Hi, Ulrika. Yeah, no.
Welcome. So Norma, would you like to just kick us off and give an idea of what business by
Yeah.
heart is and being authentic in the business world?
Yeah, thank you. And what a great question for us to sit with. How do we share our life's work in a way that feels really authentic? And oh boy, have I felt authenticity over the last few days in particular. And it can be something that so many of us struggle with. We want to be seen, we want to be real at the same time. And Victoria and I were talking about this during the last, I don't know, a couple of weeks, probably, Victoria.
Yeah.
And I started talking about feeling a bit rebellious and rambunctious, I think was the word we came up with
Bunctious, yeah.
at the
Such a
time.
beautiful word.
One of my son's favorite stories when he was little, and such a treasured book, it was so dog-eared, called Little Wolf's Book of Badness. And my son loved it so much, and we read it so many different times. And when he had his 21st birthday, I gave him a fresh copy and he read it again. And honestly, it just brought us so much joy. So the story is this little wolf gets sent off to Cunning College to learn the 9 rules of badness because his parents think he's just not bad enough to be a proper wolf. He's way too polite, too kind, always brushing his teeth. So, there's lots of things going on there that they really disapprove of. So they give him the book of badness and send him to his uncle Big Bad to toughen him up and to make him into a proper naughty wolf. And here's the thing, little wolf just can't do it. Being mean and nasty isn't who he is. One of the lines I love when he writes home is he says something like, I'm doing my best at being bad, but I keep forgetting. And honestly, I'm sure we've kind of all been there. And in the end, what makes him strong isn't following the rules of badness at all. It's absolutely being true to himself. And, isn't that the same challenge we face in our
Mm.
own lives and work every day, day after day after day? We get handed so many rules about doing business, about being successful, about how to show up. But our real power lies in showing up as ourselves,
Mm.
as who we truly are, aligned, authentic, and resonating with our true selves. And that's why I love what we're building here in Net
Mm.
Nomads. And I'm going to maybe bounce back to Victoria briefly
Yeah,
to just introduce this concept of our social marketplace
yeah.
that it has nothing to do with being a shop window, but it's got a lot to do with being seen, sharing gifts in a way that
Mm.
feels natural and supportive, and a place where we can be truly authentic and let
Mm.
others see us as we really are. So I'm going to hand over to you
Thanks.
for a quick
Yeah.
interjection.
So for me, quite a long time, I've felt that naughty school was the way marketing is currently done, where you've got to chase the algorithms and you've got to do this and you've got to do that and you've got to do this and you've basically got to be someone that you're not. We're told that we have to fit into this little paradigm, and unless you are out you know, unless you fit into that, you're not going to be seen, you're not going to be heard. You got, you know, we've got to fit into this like cookie cutter model, and I just couldn't do it. I mean, you know, you guys have witnessed me not being able to work because it just didn't feel authentic, and that's through a lot of. I mean, Graham, I can't remember. We started working on NetNomads first in 2001, I think.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Mm.
And, you know, I was going down the typical route of, you know, this is the way it's done. This is the way it should be done. And it just stopped resonating, and I just couldn't do it. I just, and then that's when the whole idea of the social marketplace really truly landed. And the social aspect of it is about us getting to know each other really authentically, you know, as people, as people first, where we, within the platform is private, is gated, it's by invitation only, so we don't have all these spam bots and whatever kind of bots and creeps and stuff coming in. You know, everybody who comes in is because they know someone. And you know, we're providing a space, and this space is going to carry on developing, growing as we grow. But the whole idea is it's a way for us to get to know each other authentically as people first. And then the marketplace aspect of it is for us to make it easy to do business, because a lot of the like Facebook or Instagram or whatever, well, Instagram's maybe not, it's a lot easier to do shopping there. But you know, a lot of the groups, for example, where you either go really professional and you then, you know, market your products, your business, whatever, or you go social. But the two together is often just, you know, frowned upon, because if you're trying to be friends with someone, then you don't bring in money, because money just warps things and makes things really weird and awkward. So this is the whole process that we've been going through the last couple of years. So the marketplace for us is a way for us to showcase, you know, this is what I do, and this is who I can help, and this is how I can be of service, and this is how it's easy to do business with me. So we really, you know, bridging that gap together. That's the whole idea behind the social marketplace.
Mhm. And don't you think that when everybody is following the same rules, everybody ends up sounding exactly the same as everybody else? And it's so hard to differentiate between the different offers and between the different people that are presenting themselves online.
The same funnel, the same landing pages, the same, you know, it's just a few words changed here and there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you guys think? Graham, Ulrika, thoughts?
Um, I agree with everything that's been said, but it's easier said than done. And
Absolutely.
because at the current moment, I would argue people such as this group are the minority. So that's not taking anything away from that. It just makes it's like anything, isn't it? If you want, there's always been this thing of equality, isn't there? Women have had to prove themselves harder than men. It's that sort of thing at the moment, I think, in the fact that yeah, it's the right way to go, being heart-centered, but traditionally at the moment business isn't like that. It is slowly changing, and there are companies that are doing and slowly changing, but it is a slow process. But being authentic also, as an authentic person, and I know when I speak to my clients, when I'm coaching my clients, I always turn around and say, be authentic. And they say, well, what does that mean? What does that get you? Well, my version of authenticity is being true, genuinely true to yourself. And that if somebody disagrees with you, that's their prerogative. They can disagree with you. But if you are really genuinely true to yourself, it matters not what other people think of you, because you're standing totally in your own power and your own authenticity. But that's not easy to do. That's it in a nutshell, really, I suppose.
I feel
Should be easy though, shouldn't it? It should be easy.
It should be, yeah.
It should be natural, it should be easy, and
So why
so
isn't it? Why isn't it, Norma? Why isn't it? You've already Victoria alluded to the fact that it's not the norm, is it? You know, we're supposed to follow this. And like you say, you get these landing pages and everything. And I was actually on one today. Something came up on my Facebook. I went out to look at it, and then I logged onto their website, and I could see it was totally written by AI.
mm,
It was such a structure. I'm thinking, this is an AI job. And I know that because I've done it. I've put one together myself, and I'm thinking, okay, that's what it looks like, but it's not me.
Yeah.
So you change it up, you know, and that's the good thing about AI. It gives you speed and it gives you ideas and all the rest of it. But to get it truly of any value and of any authenticity, you have to change it so it
Absolutely.
reads like you.
yeah. So let's hold that thought about
Sorry,
why is it
sorry,
why is it so difficult to be authentic? I just
Yeah.
want to allow Ulrika time now
Yeah,
because she
I was
was
just
going
gonna
to
ask
say
her, yeah.
something. Yeah, I sensed where you were going. I really
Thanks.
just want to give Ulrika some space
Yeah.
before we start delving more
Yeah,
into the
sure.
conversation.
yeah. I feel very, very May I say in Finnish? I feel very strongly about this because I personally haven't felt aligned with the provided current system and with people playing from their minds. And yes, it is a slower path, but I've seen it in my own work on other areas of my life, working every single time when I choose the path of my heart and be like one with it, no matter what. And my boss used to say to me several times, like, why do you ask for advice if you don't do what I say? I'm like, well, because my heart knows better. And the numbers were raising all the time. So it's totally possible. But why does it take longer, or what's the reason behind it? Is I feel that it's still a lot to do with what we're taught, that it's hard, that it takes time, when we can also allow it to happen fast, easy, unfold like a miracle and just enjoy the ride, because there are people waiting for this. Like, and they don't know unless we show. Yeah.
Well, that's a good line.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm. So Graham's question was, why is being authentic so difficult? Is that right, Graham?
Is that a question? It's more of, yeah, I suppose it is a question, but it's also more of a feeling and more of an experience. Because I suppose it's a case of, if you know something's really genuine and true to yourself, and you're trying to show it to other people and they can't see it, where do you go with it? How do you explain it to them? How do you show them? And the only way is for them to see a change, to see a result. They need validation. And that's
It's
not easy.
It's that old nutmeg, isn't it? I need to see it to believe it. No, you need to believe it to see it.
See it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ulrika is absolutely right in terms of coming from your own heart and leading it from that perspective. And people do want authenticity, but at the same time, for them to, if you like, convert, they need it validated. They need to
Mm.
see something that's tangible, just to start that ball rolling a little bit.
And I would agree. And I think the most powerful form of validation is if people feel the impact of that authenticity with their own senses, that they can actually feel that, whatever that might be, but they can just feel the impact that that authenticity has upon themselves. But it demands that they're staying open. It demands that they're staying curious. It asks of them that they're receptive, that they're perhaps willing to give it a while before they jump to conclusions or judgments. And that, this is a fast-paced world, is it not? Where, things, you hear things like, the instant economy and fast-paced and change and whatever. And I just wonder if people's attention spans, staying power in that first instant isn't helpful towards, staying the course and staying open and staying curious.
I'd also like to suggest that maybe one of the big aspects, and this is a topic of conversation in our household quite often, is trusting that you have the space to be yourself. Because so many people listen to be understood rather than to understand. So, we listen just enough so that we can have our say, without necessarily understanding what the other person is trying to say. So we don't have that space to express ourselves fully. And, Norma, you and I have had this conversation a couple of times, so I've been completely guilty of that, and then not giving people space. Well, yeah. So it's a habit. It's absolutely, changing habits can be hard, or it can be much easier, as Ulrika says.
But then we had a call and, this is what's going on for me and what's going on for you. And this is how I perceive it. So, we're bringing that curiosity and that desire to understand and I keep talking about that police incident thing where there's a police incident, 5 witnesses and 5 completely different stories because everybody's interpreted it in a different way. And I do think that desire to really understand other people's perspectives and points of view is very precious. And that we need to be working harder at really trying to understand other people, even if we don't agree with them, but to get curious to understand, because everything serves a purpose, does it not? And all of that brings more learning, more understanding, and hopefully a more compassionate and balanced world that we live in. Yeah. Ulrika, sorry, you were going to say something.
So what I feel is that the fear-based thinking requires proof, certainty and so on. And when we live in trust, in love, when we trust what we are doing, it's like the bottom of the stack. Even like the thought of am I doing the right thing, or how does it resonate with others? Because when we are in our authenticity, we will be the fly paper that attracts the flies, and they will stick with us. But as long as there's the lack mentality, which we have a lot of experience of in another platform, it doesn't matter. Because the wording, everything, the frequency is what matters. And then the people will follow. But if we do from like a must or have to or need to, need, it's just
It's your favorite word.
not mine, it's somebody else.
Yeah.
It will,
Yeah.
it will,
Negate everything.
the people will go away.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of the name word now. Yeah. It's stay in your heart, do what you can and can what you do, and it's all gonna be good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what the other person is. Like I keep saying that we're like pieces of a puzzle, and we attract the other puzzle pieces to our puzzle, and we connect, and then everything just unfolds.
Falls into place.
Yeah, all goes into the place, and everything just happens.
It's such a lovely analogy, because if we're trying to be a different piece or a different color of, then our puzzle piece won't fit where it's supposed to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when we do the base coherently, is that a good word to this?
Yeah.
It will have a strong foundation, and it's easy to spread it. But like to have everybody in the same frequency or understanding and understanding, and that it has landed, that this is a gift that we're offering not only to ourselves but to everybody else who wants to do the same. And it's a choice without needs, must or have.
So it's basically giving each other permission.
Yeah.
Through us being authentic ourselves, we are giving other people permission to share their authenticity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it really does boil down to vulnerability. Are we, are we comfortable enough with ourselves to be vulnerable and to trust that there is space, especially in what has been the cutthroat, eat or be eaten business world. And this is what we are changing, and this is how, no, it's not what we're changing for. This is another conversation that we're having this afternoon, is that are we focusing on trying to fix what was broken, or are we creating the new? And
we are absolutely creating the
exactly
new.
exactly
Going back and trying to fix something that's broken is almost mission impossible. And we take so much more energy, so much more time, so much more everything. I think taking your attention off that and putting it on what you want to create is by far the most expedite, powerful way of bringing in.
Yeah. And I've been saying for years for people that it's all about the energy, and the energy is what attracts. So when we are in our own light, in our own, in the love that we are, everything just happens, following the path of least resistance. And that's it. Simple as that. But our minds, those little they're like making us believe this, that, and the other. Yeah. But we know we're doing the right thing when everything just flows. The easiest sign to know.
I mean,
there's really the laughter and the giggles.
Yeah. One of my challenges that I do have both the creative and the logical side, and they're often at war with each other, or they have been at war with each other, and the analytical mind is going, and the creative mind is going, no. So you have this whole dialogue happening, and for me, I've really learned that an important part of where we are now is being that bridge. And I think, Graham, you can absolutely relate to this, is that you know what it's like, you know where you want to go, but you also want to help bring people with you. And the analytical mind is going, no. So you have this whole dialogue happening, and for me, I've really learned that an important part of where we are now is being that bridge. And I think, Graham, you can absolutely relate to this, is that you know what it's like, you know where you want to go, but you also want to help bring people with you. And in that space, you are the bridge. So yes, on the one hand, you a shining beacon light for people who are already opening up to that frequency, but also to help those. I mean, you know, I think I was telling Norma that what inspired me so much about why I first asked to work with you on NetNomads is because of the work that you were doing with the suicide line.
Samaritan.
And
Yeah.
sorry, Samaritan, yeah. And it was just, you know, to have that whole depth of going from there to here, and you build such compassion, and through that there is an authenticity that just exudes through you. So
Yeah, I hear what you say. I
yeah.
think for me, the working for the Samaritans, volunteering for the Samaritans for 5 years and doing that taught me an awful lot about one, how to listen, but also non-judgment and the belief that everybody has a choice. So when you're on the end of the phone with somebody who's taken their life and you're just there to support and listen. You don't know if they've told you the right name or any of those sort of details. But you obviously offer help. You ask them if if you want assistance or anything like that. And if they don't, then it's their choice. Everybody has a choice. And it can be quite hard. And I vividly remember the very first suicide call I ever took. There's 3 stages really, but this was what we call suicide in progress. It was a 16-year-old girl, and the immediate flash up was my own granddaughter, and you're saying to yourself, this is wrong, you want to help, you can do this and all that, but even then you've got to realize and say it's their choice. But then the Samaritans don't give any advice, don't give any help. Even if you know you can, you don't. So I then became conflicted because mental health in particular is wide now. It's everything, it's everywhere. And if you can just give somebody some sort of guidance or some sort of help or whatever, then they could be on the path to recovery. So it can obviously help to reduce suicide rates and things like this. So that's why I chose to sort of leave the Samaritans and do what I do now. But I still support them financially. I would donate to them because they are a fantastic charity, without a shadow of a doubt, and they're very close to my heart. But going back to what we've been talking about, authenticity and all the rest of it, when clients come to me now and they say they don't want this, they don't want that, and they say, I want to change, it's really given them the space to be able to change and ask them if they really want the change. And if they do, you can support them. But what I've found and the way I approach it now is that from a Samaritan point of view, it's their choice. So I don't tell them what to do. I can make suggestions and say, try this, try that, listen to this hypnotherapy recording or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. And at the end of every session we have, I never assume that they're going to come back. I always ask them, well, first of all, are you going out better than when you came in? Number one. And number two, do you want to come back again? And then the ones who genuinely value that hour and a half or whatever it is, in a room that's totally confidential, there's no judgment, they're free to express and say whatever they want, then that's quite powerful for them. It's quite powerful for them. And it's wonderful to see when they go on that. But if you take another example, and this is where it gets more trickier, like the last retreat I did with my wife, there was 10 women on this retreat. And what she does is she creates a space for everybody to be vulnerable to the level that they want to be.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for some people to be more vulnerable than others. And I'm there as a support because they like to talk about traumatic things sometimes, or they come to me for an opinion, but they have to come to me. If it's an issue they've got with males, for example, then obviously they possibly won't come. But if they do talk to me, they've got that issue, and they see it from a male perspective, then it helps them. So you have to, it's quite a fragile environment, or it can be a very fragile environment. You know, so I think as authentic people, you have to be aware that whoever you're talking to might not be as knowledgeable or as authentic or vulnerable as they want to be or they can be, because simply they don't know. And it's that's what I'm saying. It's a slow process. You know, it's everybody wants to be heard. And then you get people who become really, really needy and just want to suck all the energy from you, you know, like you really say, it's the energy thing. It can be quite draining listening to all this and holding space for people, you know, and I know I have a system that after every client, I go out, if it's at home here in my consulting room at home here, I go in the back garden, stand on the grass barefooted, just the ground in between, because I'm a great believer in giving 100% to every single client straight away. And if I don't get rid of what I've been told or what I've heard, and believe me, I hear all sorts of things, some really horrible, abusive stuff and all the rest of it. Where do I offload? How do I, do all this? So I'm very fortunate that I've got a wife that I can do, and she can do it with me, and we have that. And I think having communities where you've got support, that people understand, such as this, is vital.
Absolutely.
Absolutely vital. So, but this isn't really easy to do. But I do think you have to give people that responsibility. They have to make the choice.
And I do believe, Graham, that there's a fine balance there, because when people are seriously traumatized, trauma with a capital T or a small t, it's still trauma. And I think just bringing that exquisite presence and being with them and holding space with them and just listening. But there does come a time in that conversation or series of conversations where it's that aspect of encouraging them to let go of the past, let go of the story, and to cultivate this sense within themselves of a desire to step beyond that, to not be held captive by that trauma anyway, and to move on. And that's where the real decision point comes, because no matter how fabulous the support person might be, but we can't make that decision for the people. It has to come from them individually. But I think we all try to show up in a way that is empowering and understanding and compassionate and all of these great things. But there does come that decision point.
You're absolutely right there, Norma. And I have a policy. So my belief is you can't do anything about the past. The past has happened. But what you can do is you can reconcile and learn from it. So if you show people or ask people, well, okay, what have you learned from the past? What have you learned from that past experience? It might be a simple thing like, I don't want to act like that, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want this to happen again, or whatever. The point is that they are learning to accept it in a way that teaches them. They've seen in it. And I have a great belief that when everything's positive, we're happy. You know, there's nothing to change. It's great. Life's brilliant. But when it's a negative scenario, there's two things you can do with it. There's one, you can either accept it and it beats you up and it gets you down and all the rest of it, or you can look at that negativity and ask the question, what's it teaching me?
Yeah.
What's the gift?
And then once they understand that, well, I can see that anything negative comes along, they think it's a new mindset. What's this teaching me?
Absolutely.
So they start looking at things in a different way. And when they start getting into that realm, it becomes a little bit easier for them because they then start thinking, well, I'm making my own calls here. I'm making my own judgments here.
Yeah.
I'm becoming a little bit more authentic each time I look at it.
Exactly.
And so I practice emotional freedom technique tapping, and I'm using it a lot at the moment. And one of my favorite questions is, if that emotion or that pain or that whatever had a voice, what would be its message for you right now? And I've rarely, well, it does happen that people say, oh, I'm not getting anything, and then you continue tapping on that, and then something will come. But they usually often know, bang, and it's there. So it's a beautiful, relatively swift way of gaining that wisdom, gaining that insight, and learning from the past. And I would say memories of the past, and I think there's been a lot of research on this, but I can't quote it. Memories of the past do get distorted in our recollection.
They do.
So I think that if we find ourselves in a better space, our memory and relationship with the past will be improved because of that. And then if we dive into the world of quantum physics, where past, present, and future are all happening in the generous present moment, there is absolutely no reason why changing things in the present moment cannot change past events.
Absolutely.
But that's a bit more of a mind bender. But over the years where I've been doing Joe Dispenza's work and many others have contributed to that, I have to say that it really has changed my perception and belief about past events. So I can say hand on heart that I truly believe that my past, as I perceive and experience it now, has definitely changed.
Me too.
But your thought process about the past.
No, it's sorry, Graham, to interrupt you. For me, it's so much more than just a thought process. It's a visceral thing. It has physically changed in the body by just especially the shadow work that I've done, the breath work that I've done. It's been a somatic experience of physically changing it. As some of these old things come up and you go through that process, there is a visceral change in your body. It's much more than just a thought process. So I'm sorry if I interrupted you and that's where you were going.
No, well, you've explained that so eloquently, because that's what I was going to move on to the saying.
Sorry.
It's within the body and all the rest of it. That. But what it can't do is the actual event.
Well, quantum physics kind of is showing something different right now.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
this is
the event,
that's a bit of a
the event,
minefield.
Yeah.
the event doesn't exist unless someone's observing it. So,
That's the quantum, the observer
yeah,
effect.
yeah, yeah. It takes an observer to observe it for that event to be there, to be real.
Mm.
Right,
So,
okay.
you know,
Well,
an
this is
event.
going to be a whole nother topic,
Oh,
but
We'll do
because
this conversation another time.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we should,
Yeah.
we
it's
should.
almost like, which
Um,
comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
We've had great experiences with that too. We've got lots to unpack.
But having said all that, you're talking with people in a group that, okay, we've got people that have a relative understanding. And I would again argue that we're in the minority.
For the moment.
For the moment, yeah, for the moment. But it's I'm more about working in the present
Yeah,
and being present
yeah,
because the present will influence the future. But there's
yeah,
nothing we can do about the past
yeah,
other than reconcile with it
yeah,
so it doesn't affect your present.
yeah. Or your future.
Well, it won't affect the future because if you're dealing with it in the present and your present
Mm.
is to accept it and all the rest of it and build for the future, the past won't affect the future.
I'd also like to do a little segue if I can, if you don't mind. Is you've got the Maslow's hierarchy of frequencies, the emotional frequencies, and what we can also argue about the whole speed at which things, this is a whole other conversation in itself, but the whole speed of which, life can change is that when enough, you don't, one person vibrating at like 600 or 700 hertz can affect hundreds of thousands of people compared to somebody who's vibrating in the lower scarcity, lack, and mentality frequencies. So in that regard, the more of us, even if it's just the minority of us, by us just being in that frequency, we are automatically rippling out to everyone else and raising, rising tide lifts all boats. So in that way, with all of us doing this cohesively and coherently, we'll affect change a lot more rapidly than by sticking to the old ways of doing things. But it is about finding that bridge that is comfortable within us so that we
Yeah.
can be our authentic selves.
And that's the starting point, is it not?
Yep.
Because if you're not authentic and to yourself, you're not going to be able to vibrate at that higher level and have that influence other people.
Exactly.
So, and when you're sort of working one-on-one with people, that's it, you're working on one-on-one, you're trying to higher their vibration, aren't you? If you're doing small retreats, I've seen it, it's like, the retreat my wife just done when she was doing this warrior screaming and all the rest of it. And I walked into the yoga studio full of women and I said, I'm scared to come in here. You were so powerful.
Yeah, awesome.
But none of them were ever allowed to do that. It's just they had the space to do it and they felt so, and we did the arrow break and all the rest of it. Throat and they were just absolutely
blown away
with it all. So I know what you're saying. So yeah, if you've got high energy, you can bring other people up there, but you'll always have people that will not budge.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't understand it.
And it's their choice.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. It's their choice. It's everybody's choice.
So I think you meant David Hawkins and the frequencies.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant? Yeah.
Did I say something else?
You said Maslow, which is the
sorry. I
hierarchy
meant
of
Hawkins.
needs. No, it's David Hawkins. Yeah.
Thank you. I could see the map of consciousness.
You can see the table. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I didn't mean to say Maslow. Well, I obviously did.
And you know, Abraham,
Hicks.
Esther Hicks, Abraham, they reference those vibrational frequencies, as do many other people, of course. Yeah.
But that is a whole another exciting conversation all by itself. I love these conversations. They are so rich. They're so deep. I think, yeah, you know, we could go into another whole whatever, but we'll save that for another call. To wrap up this gorgeous conversation, would everybody like to share something that they taken away from this evening?
Community of understanding
That's beautiful.
and love for what they do or for what we do. That's my take.
That's beautiful. Marika? Yeah.
What to say? Maybe that the authenticity is the key to everything, and to have the trust and to listen to our inner gut in everything we do, because it will guide us, and everything will happen. I know. It's meant to be. This doesn't happen for randomly. It is meant to be happening. Yeah, and those people are there, or they're there. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think for me, it's bringing that deep, exquisite presence to absolutely everything that I do. And I am such a recovering multitasker. And you know, sometimes it's good to just get things done that are functional and need to be done. But I am now such a determined unitasker when it comes to really engaging with people, and bringing that presence is so delicious. It is so delicious for hopefully for everybody concerned. And I think that gives permission for everyone to be their true, authentic self. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. How about you? Yeah, done that for a while.
I'm just so deeply grateful, and I feel so joyful that, you know, this has been such a long journey for myself, you know, for all of us to be where we are right now, and that we have found each other, and that we are, you know, taking part in this beautiful journey together. It's just like, and we're doing it authentically. That we are, you know, but one of my favorite sayings is, be the change you wish to see in the world. That's it. That's it. For me, that's what authenticity is that I want a world that is joyful and loving and kind. So
Can I share one last slide just
yes.
before we go off? If
Yes,
you
sure.
can see it, I hope I've got the right thing up there. There you go. These are the
Oh, cute.
nine rules of badness, as quoted by Ian Whybrow in Little Wolf's Book of Badness. Yeah. I mean, isn't it just go fib your head off? If it squeaks, eat it. Blow everybody else. Do your dirtiest every day. Don't blab good ideas. Never trust a big bad word. You know,
That's
it's
so
just
sweet.
so.
Yeah.
If you feel a bit naughty, a bit bad, maybe you can just jot down, you know, your
Good.
9 rules of badness for whatever purpose. Yeah, I just think it's It's just lovely to have fun, isn't it?
It is. It
Really
is.
lovely to have fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, I could see that taking on a whole conversation by itself, but uh, that to me also ties in very nicely with the shadow processes that we do. So yeah, but that is a whole other conversation as well. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. It's so appreciated. Thank you for your time, your love, and your energy, and your authenticity.
Yay!
Thanks, everyone.